To some people, this just may look like an expensive piece of glass Apple sells to appease to people who want something between an iPhone and a MacBook. And technically, you would kind of be right, because that pretty much is all it is, an expensive sheet of glass that basically is just a big iPhone. But what if I told you that I can help you upgrade your iPad game and get the most out of your iPad by tweaking a few settings, by downloading a few applications, and by learning the ins and outs and the intricacies of the iPad? Well, that is exactly what we're going to be doing today, because I'm going to be giving you guys the ultimate tips and settings for your iPad. Let's get into it. Hello Internet, how are you doing? My name is Brian, if you are new here, and today we are going to be talking all about the iPad and giving you guys some really cool tips and settings to really upgrade your iPad game. A lot of people buy an iPad and they have absolutely no idea what to do with their iPad, so consider this video kind of an entry point into the iPad universe. I consider this video iPad 101, if you will. That's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to break down this video into a few distinct parts. First, we're going to talk all about iPad settings. Then I'm going to give you guys a crash course of how to multitask with iPadOS 26. Then we're going to specifically talk about iPad accessories such as the Apple Pencil and keyboard case. Then I'm going to tell you guys all about home and lock screen setup and ways to customize your iPad a little bit more to your liking. Then I'm going to talk to you guys about some other fun features such as using USB-C port for certain accessories and gaming. Then finally, I'm going to talk to you guys all about the best productivity applications that you can get for your iPad. But without further ado, let's jump into the first portion of this video talking all about iPad settings. Let's get started with settings for your iPad. First thing we're going to do is go into settings on our iPad, and we're here at the general screen. So first we're going to talk all about is we're going to go into multitasking and gestures down here. And we're going to talk about these three options we have right here. So we have full screen applications, windowed applications, and then stage manager. There's three different ways you can actually use your iPad. You can use full screen apps, which basically just means every time you open an application, it will automatically go into full screen. And then you can do windowed applications, which basically allows you to resize and arrange multiple windows on screen at a single time to multitask easier. Then there's Stage Manager, which allows windows to be activated across multiple groups. You can group windows together and switch between spaces. Windowed applications go across one space and Stage Manager goes across multiple spaces. That's a cool little thing you can do with your iPad. I think the best way to do it for most iPads is just to do windowed applications and kind of manage them in between each application. You can switch to Stage Manager, which does allow for a little bit of more control if you have an iPad Pro or an iPad Air. For most use cases, do windowed applications. There's also something down here called gestures. So here's all the gesture settings you can do on your iPad. I like to turn off shake to undo because I don't like to shake my iPad that much. You can do swipe to reveal menu bar, which basically means I can swipe from the top center to reveal the menu bar of my application right there, which is right there. Then there are 4 and 5 finger app switching. So you can go back by pinching 4 or 5 fingers. I can go home by doing this. I can do that to go back home. You can switch applications by going 4 or 5 fingers. I can actually switch applications just like this on my iPad. And I can open the app switcher by pinching 4 or 5 fingers. I can do like this to open up multitasking, and I can do like this to go home. Whenever you have a keyboard with a trackpad connected to your iPad, you can actually go down into trackpad settings underneath general, and you can actually adjust the tracking speed of your trackpad, which is quite cool. So as you can see, I'm using my trackpad right now off camera, and I can actually adjust the speed of it. So if I want to actually kind of make it in a middle speed, I can do it like that. And as you can see, it adjusts tracking speed to be slower. I can make it super slow by going all the way here. I can also make it extremely fast and make it super easy to move around. You can also do natural scrolling, which content will track with the movement of your fingers, which I have that turned on. And then there's also a way to do tap to click. So actually what I can do is I can simply tap something to click in instead of actually clicking it, which actually makes it a little bit easier than actually clicking on the actual trackpad. And I can do 2 fingers for secondary click. But that's a way you can actually customize your trackpad on your iPad. This works with any keyboard case that has a trackpad built in. It works similarly when you actually connect a Bluetooth mouse or a Bluetooth trackpad or Bluetooth keyboard or whatever with trackpad onto your iPad. So if you want to use your iPad with an external monitor by chance, you can actually connect an external monitor right to your iPad and unlock even more cool settings on your iPad. But then what I can go down into is I can go down into display and brightness, and I can actually adjust the display settings, either extended display, which actually extends my iPad's screen onto an external display, or I can do screen mirroring, which actually just mirrors my screen. Then for my built-in Retina display, I can do all these settings right here. And then for my studio display, which I have connected, I can actually adjust all these settings right here. This will honestly depend on if you have an external monitor that supports these certain features. You're able to actually control all of that right here pretty easily. And you can actually adjust your arrangement too. So I can actually put my iPad directly below my screen, or I can put my iPad above my screen, next to my screen on this side, or next to my screen on this side, or down here. So that's all my settings that I apply to my iPad. Now let's go on into multitasking on iPadOS 26. So now that you know a few settings for your iPad Pro, let's get into a crash course of iPadOS 26 multitasking. Multitasking on iPadOS 26 is an absolute game changer, especially now with the windowed app layouts. It is extremely useful and very easy, but unfortunately it is a little bit complicated for people who may not be familiar with how iPads work. So I'm going to give you guys kind of a little bit of a crash course of how this works today. Let's open up two different applications. So we're going to open up my Notion app right here. My Notion application is now Windows, so I can actually move it right here, and I can adjust its size easily just like this. In the corner, there's a little line in the corner, and what I can do is I actually adjust how big the application is or how small the application is, and it automatically adjusts within the app. But what I also can do again is if I want to open up another application, I simply tap the application, open it, and then I can adjust its size, and I can flick it to the side, and I can take this application, flick it to the side, and automatically unlock split view multitasking. So you can make this one bigger, or I can make this one smaller. And if I want to go home, I simply just swipe on home, and I can open up another application right here. And then I can make this on top of this one and have 3 different windows on my iPad at once. My Gmail open, I can have my Notion tab open, and my Notes tab open all on my iPad all at once. So that's kind of just a little crash course of how to use Windows on iPad. Again, it's super easy. I just open up application right here, and I can adjust its size, and look at that. I actually now have 4 windows on my iPad at once. And the cool thing is I can actually view all 4 of these windows at once. I have 4 applications open up on my iPad at the same time. This works really good with iPads with a 13-inch size screen, but it also does work again on the iPad mini and on the standard 11-inch iPad. But one of my favorite gestures is the flick gesture. So obviously I open up my Notion widget right here. Just open up another tab, which is my Notes app, and then I can actually flick this off to the side. And as you can see, I am multitasking as easy as that. This is the fastest way to do multitasking. And a cool thing about, again, iPadOS is swipe on home and I can open up another application, and it's going to actually open it up right on top of my applications that I have on right now, which again is just a really cool feature of being able to do this. Now, as you can see in the corner of your iPad, you have a little stoplight view on all of your applications. What are these for? Well, these are actually for closing out the application, minimizing the application, and making it full screen. So if I tap the X button, it closes out the application 1, 2, 3. If I tap the minus button, it minuses the application down to my dock. And if I tap this button right here, it expands it all the way out to the full screen of my iPad. This works identical to macOS. The final feature I want to talk about is the menu bar with an iPadOS 26. I swipe on down right here and I have a menu bar. So I can go into my notes, I can go into my files of my notes, I can hit edit notes, I can do format, view, window, and help. And this is exactly what you see on macOS, and the window experience actually is a little bit better. Show all windows. I have 2 windows open for notes, and all these actually do change within each application that you have. So again, Notion, I have file, close window, edit, I can do all this editing, format, view, windows, and help. That's how you use the menu bar with an iPadOS 26 on your iPad. The best way to elevate your iPad's experience is by using a few cool accessories. So now we're going to talk about all the cool features you can get with your iPad using a keyboard case and an Apple Pencil. When you use both of these accessories at once, it really truly unlocks the iPad experience. First thing we're going to talk about is keyboards. You don't have to get the Apple Magic Keyboard. You can get pretty much any Bluetooth keyboard case that you find off Amazon. I personally use the Type case, which is one of my favorites. So I'm gonna actually put my iPad into the keyboard case. We're gonna talk about some really cool features that you can use using a keyboard and your iPad together. There actually is an Apple support website that tells you all the really cool iPad keyboard shortcuts that you can use on your iPad using iPadOS 26. First thing is you can see your keyboard shortcuts from your menu bar. So if you go right up into here, so we go into File right here, we have all these keyboard shortcuts that they can use on here, on Safari, and all these right here as well. But there's also a bunch of common keyboard shortcuts. Editing items, you can do Command A to select all items, Command X, Command C, Command V. You can do all these cool things for editing your items. There's also system commands. So if I hit the globe button and I click A, it will show or hide the dock. Globe button Shift A, it will show or hide the app library. Globe C will show my control center. Globe H, my iPad will go home. Globe M will show my menu bar on my iPad. Globe N will show my lock screen, just like this. Command spacebar will show spotlight search, so I can search something on my iPad really quickly, just like this. Then I do Command Shift and 3, and it takes a screenshot of my screen right there. And then if I do Command Shift 4, it will take a screenshot and open up markup, actually mark up my screenshot just like this on my iPad. But there's window management. I can close a window on my iPad by doing Command W. I can do Command M to minimize my window. So like this, I minimize my window like that. Globe F, I can actually enter full screen or exit full screen. So I can exit full screen just like this. I can enter full screen and just like this as well. Command Tab will show my most recently used app. and it shows all my recent applications, and I can actually move over to whatever application I want to use. And then control, globe, and arrow, it will tile to the current window to half the screen. I want my window to be right here, so I hit that side and it automatically collapses it like this. If I open up another application, I can hit globe, control globe on this side, and bam, I opened up multitasking just like that. But that is a cool way you can do window management and all this using keyboard shortcuts on your iPad. Also, on many different iPad keyboards, you actually have a command row right up here, so you can do things like do brightness, you can go into multitasking view, you can bring up your keyboard. It all is dependent on which iPad keyboard case you do buy. Let's talk about mouse and keyboard gestures for your iPad. Look, I can swipe like this to go to different applications like this, swipe all the way to go home. Now let's talk all about using the Apple Pencil with the iPad. So there's a bunch of really cool features you can use. The first one I want to talk about is the ability to take notes with your screen being off. I take my Apple Pencil, I tap it to a screen, and automatically I can start taking a note on my iPad. So it will automatically save directly to my notes application. And let's talk about some really cool features you can use exclusively with the Apple Pencil Pro. The Apple Pencil Pro only works with certain iPad models. I'll put that all on the screen right here. But I'm drawing right here, and I want to change my tools. So I squeeze my iPad and I can actually change my tools. I can change them to whatever tool I want to use. I can change it to this pen right here, fountain pen. I can change it to an eraser and erase right there. I can use my magic wand by using image wand. Let's do a picture of a pumpkin. So we're going to do this. So we're going to do a pumpkin. We're going to do, and then I'm going to go right here. I'm going to go into my image wand right here, and I can circle this, and we're going to see what it creates for a pumpkin using Apple Intelligence. I mean, a pumpkin like this, okay, I mean, it does its job, so I can do that and hit check, and it automatically will then save this image right to my screen. And I have a picture of a pumpkin that I can adjust to make bigger or smaller, whatever. That's Apple Pencil Squeeze. It is a very cool feature. Unfortunately, it doesn't work in every single application. Another really cool feature of the Apple Pencil is being able to actually take a screenshot from anywhere on your screen. So if I swipe onto the corner right here, I automatically just took a screenshot using my Apple Pencil. And the cool thing is I can actually mark up my screenshot directly with my Apple Pencil. So I can do this and I can draw my screenshot, show this, do an arrow, be like, what the This works with pretty much any Apple Pencil possible, so I just go right here and I take a screenshot and I can start marking it up right away. If we go into Apple Pencil settings on the iPad, there's actually a bunch of things you can do. You can actually customize the squeeze and double tap of your Apple Pencils. If you want to do a squeeze, you can show your tool palette, or you can do all of these different functions on your Apple Pencil Pro. And for double tap, you can switch between current and tool and eraser, or you can do these other cool things. And also there's a bunch of cool effects. There's a hover effect. Hover effect allows you to hover over a certain application. So as you can see right here, I'm hovering over applications and my Apple Pencil actually reacts. I can do a tool preview. I can do shadow, which actually casts a shadow. Drawing right here, you can actually see the shadow of my pencil. And I can actually see where I'm going to make a mark. You can see the exact mark it's going to make on the iPad, and I can actually preview it before I even use the tool. But also it shows the tool itself, so as you can see right there, it shows the crayon right there. There's also haptics that are available on the Apple Pencil Pro. You can also only draw using the Apple Pencil Pro if you want to do that. And there's other pencil gestures, like at the bottom left corner, you can do a screenshot. In the bottom right corner, I can actually do a quick note. So I do it like this, and automatically made a quick note. And if I want to open up another quick note or the same one, I just do it like this. Those are all the cool features you can do on the Apple Pencil as well as on a keyboard. Let's move on to the next section of the video. It's time to now master your iPad's home screen and find ways to not only utilize your home screen, but also the lock screen on iPad using iPadOS 26. So if you notice right here, we actually mentioned a few times the dock of the iPad. This dock is very important, and it's very important of what you actually put into your dock, because your dock acts like the Mac dock on your MacBook, is able to be accessible through any application. So if I'm in my Gmail application right here in full screen right here, I can actually swipe up my dock and actually open up a new window. So you actually want to put all of your important applications in your dock. But off to the side here, I actually have 3 recently opened applications, but right here I actually have access to my app library. So I tap this right here, I can open up any app in my app library down there as well. But that's a really important feature of the iPad. Another cool feature of iPads is the fact that you actually get multiple different widget sizes on your home screen. But I also have an extra large widget. So I add the extra large widget right here. And as you can see, I have a huge widget on my iPad. On landscape mode on your lock screen, you can actually have a bunch of widgets to the side. I have my calendar widget, and I have my weather, and I have my AirPods. This is only viewable on the landscape lock screen. If I turn my iPad like this, it automatically goes away. All you have to do is go into edit mode on your lock screen, hit customize. I can add any widget I want. And again, it's very useful having all this information accessible right here whenever I have my iPad in landscape mode. Over the past few years, iPads have unlocked some really cool exclusive features using cool accessories such as gaming controllers, as well as USB-C accessories such as an external drive. So we're going to talk about all the cool features you can unlock using these specific accessories. First thing we're going to talk about is all the cool USB-C accessories you can use with your iPad. Right now I have a USB-C external drive, and the cool thing about iPads with USB-C is you can pretty much plug in any USB-C accessory directly into your iPad. You can actually use it. So I have my USB-C drive, I plug it right into my iPad, I open up my Files application, and I can actually view my external drive right here and view all the content that's on my drive. Not only that, but I can actually take files from my iPad and put it directly onto my external drive. This is very helpful and very useful, specifically for people who really need extra storage on their iPad. You can basically buy an external drive for your iPad and have extra storage. It's a very clutch feature. It's not really advertised that much. Also can actually plug your iPhone directly into your iPad. And the cool thing is actually it's going to charge my iPhone with my iPad's battery. So your iPad could basically be a super large external battery for your iPhone if your iPhone's running dead. But not only just that, you can actually plug in AirPods, you can charge other USB-C accessories, but that's just a really cool thing that you can do as well. Now again, because this is USB-C, you have access to a bunch of cool accessories you can plug into your iPad. If you have a USB-C external microphone, you can plug that into your iPad. You can also plug in an SD card reader into your iPad and read the files off your SD card. You can plug in a gaming controller to your iPad and use that as well. There are so many cool accessories you can plug directly into your iPad by just utilizing the USB-C port on the iPad. Another super cool accessory is actually being able to use a game controller with your iPad. If you have applications that support this, this is actually very useful and very fun. I'm actually going to show you guys how to set this up today. So we're going to go right into our settings, and we're going to go right into Bluetooth settings, which is right there. Then we're going to actually take our controller, we're going to power on our controller, and we're going to press this button right here for Bluetooth mode. And then it's going to search for the device Xbox wireless controller, ask for me to pair it, and now my Xbox controller is paired directly to my iPad. So I can actually use this on certain games, and I should be able to actually game using my controller on my iPad. Anyways, that's kind of cool. You can actually use that with your iPad. And finally, to end this amazing video, we're going to talk about some really cool productivity applications that you can download on your iPad that I use almost on a daily basis that not only help you elevate your iPad's experience, but also let you be extremely productive using this iPad. Now, some of these applications are actually not free. First one that is not free is GoodNotes. I have talked about GoodNotes a lot on this channel, and it is my favorite way to journal on the iPad. For digital planning, I have a content calendar on GoodNotes right here, and I'm actually able to plan out all my content for the month. This is a hyperlink planner, so I can actually move to different sections of the planner by just going to the different hyperlinks like this. I can then take little notes. So I can take this, I can add this little sticker. I did pay for this application, but now you can actually do a subscription for this application if you want to do that. I would definitely recommend checking out GoodNotes. You can add different planners. I have different planners on here. You can add different notebooks, and we can actually just select all of our different notebook styles. So I can do dotted, ruled, narrow. I use GoodNotes so much in college. It is a lifesaver having all your notebooks all in one place. I definitely recommend it. There's just so many really cool use cases for GoodNotes, and it's definitely one of my favorite iPad applications ever made. Next up is Notion. Notion is the way I plan out all of my content. So I do all my TikTok ideas right here on Notion. I do all my YouTube ideas are right here on Notion as well. And I did talk a little bit more about Notion in my iPad college video. So if you want to learn a little bit more about Notion, you can actually check out my iPad college videos. I talked more in depth about it. Again, Notion is just such a great application. There's different things you can do within it. You can do different folders, you can do different notebooks. It's just very nice, and it also is great for not only using for touch, but also being able to use it with your keyboard. It is very, very clutch. Procreate is an application that did cost me money, but if you are any type of an artist, you need Procreate in your life. I can do a square canvas right here. Exactly what you think it is. It is a drawing application. I have a bunch of different brushes. I can go in my brush library right here. I can change my brush out. I can do charcoal. Procreate is the best tool for any artist out there. If you are any type of creative, any type of artist, you definitely want Procreate in your life. It is such a great application. It is so versatile. You can get different brushes. You can even do animations on here. I've seen people do before. It is one of the best iPad applications that you can honestly ever buy. Final application I'm going to talk about is GoDaddy Studio. This is basically a Photoshop application all in one. Not only can you do that, but you can also do marketing. You can create sites, you can create domains, but this is basically how I make all of my thumbnails. Here are all my projects. I make literally all my thumbnails directly in GoDaddy Studio. It is so nice. I can go into my different layers and adjust my layers. I can make this. I can bring in different graphics. I have a bunch of graphics saved. Some of them are free, some of them are paid. There are just so many ways you can actually edit and make stuff and make good quality create content for your social media, for your videos, for whatever. It is basically Photoshop without paying for Photoshop. I love this app so much, and I think everybody should try out this application. It is completely free, but if you do want to subscribe to their premium service, you actually get access to videos, you get access to different assets, and a lot of it is copyright free, so you don't have to worry about copyright. And it's definitely one of my must-have productivity applications on the iPad. And that is my tips and settings video for the iPad. So that was a lot to unfold, but I really hope you guys enjoyed my ultimate tips and settings for the iPad Pro video. There's a lot of really cool features that you can unlock by just using your iPad, not only just with accessories that you can purchase for the iPad, but also some really cool applications that I did mention to you guys as well. But there's actually just so much more to unlock with the iPad that I didn't even mention in this video. So if you guys do want more iPad videos in the future, be sure to let me know that down in the comments down below, and also be sure to like this video as well. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. If you did enjoy this video, be sure to hit that button down below and subscribe, and click the notification bell to get notifications on whenever I upload a video next. You can also follow me on all the social medias. Links are me down in the description down below and also right here. Thank you guys just so much for watching this video. Have a great day. Bye. And now I'm gonna go just play my iPad and maybe play some Heyday and maybe just ignore all my problems and responsibilities in life. This is way more fun than being in the real world. Like, I'm just saying, I'm sorry. That's just the truth.